doing? It's your boy Brogi back again with another episode of Brogi on Films. And in this video, I'm going to be giving my spoiler review of Birds of Prey, aka the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. That title is terrible. And this movie was directed by Cassandra Cain. This will be my spoiler review. If you don't want spoilers, check out the non-spoiler review on my Instagram page or the IGTV. Link is in the description. And before we get further into this, I'm going to give you my grade of Birds of Prey. And because of that, as a grade, I would have to give Birds of Prey a C- or a 4.5 out of 10. That's my grade for this film. Alright, and that was my grade for this movie. And as you can tell, I wasn't that into it. You know, this movie had some hype behind it. I was not excited about this movie. When they first announced that they were going to do a Harley Quinn movie, you know, it's going to be a Harley Quinn movie, then there was going to be like a Harley Quinn and Joker movie, and there might be a Harley Quinn Gotham City Sirens movie. I was fine with that. And then they were like, no, we're going to do Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. And I'm like, those two things aren't, that's not a thing. It's only very much a new thing, but it's not really a thing. You know, Harley Quinn is her thing, Birds of Prey are their own thing. And this movie combines the two, and it is what it is. The best way I can describe this movie is if you know the Joe Schumacher Batman movies, you know, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. Imagine one of those movies, but it's darker. You know, it's rated R. It's darker. There's a lot more cursing. There's a lot more blood. There's weird costumes. You know, there's characters from the comics. They might have the name of the character, but they act nothing or look like anything from the comics. That's basically this movie, and it's kind of disappointing that in 2020 a movie comes out and they're still pulling that bullshit. Source material's right there. Just do it. I don't know why they keep trying to make it their own and then giving us bullshit. Didn't hate this movie, just wasn't that big into it. This quick synopsis: Harley Quinn breaks up with the Joker, and this is once the rest of Gotham finds out that she's broken up. Everyone, she no longer has the protection of the Joker. All these people are trying to come after her. They're trying to kill her. And while that's going on, the Black Mask, the villain of this film, he's trying to get this diamond that has this information encoded into it, which leads to the money to this rich family, and he's trying to get their money. And then that gets taken away by this little girl. She ends up getting connected with Harley, and so now the whole city is after them, and other people are involved trying to protect that girl as well as working with Harley Quinn. And that's the synopsis of this. So there are a few things about this movie that I liked. The main thing is the action. Cassandra Cain, this is one of her, like her third or second or so movie she's made. First big budget film she's made. And when she needed help with the action, so Warner Brothers hired the stunt coordinators from the John Wick movies to help out with the action, and that really helped this film. The action in this is awesome. There's some cool scenes with Harley. There's the moment where she breaks into the police station. I enjoyed that, and she's got like the glitter and the smoke thing and the beanbags. That was cool. That scene where she's fighting those guys in the evidence room. The baseball bat is great. The action, the car chase towards the end was cool, and trying to think of another. There was a fight scene with Black Widow that was good, and most of Huntress's action sequences, that was really good stuff. Favorite character in this film, surprisingly to me, is Victor Zsasz, played by Chris Messina. He was great. His character, his portrayal is probably the closest to the comic books I can attach myself to in this movie. He had the blonde hair, he had the scars on his face and body, and he was just a ruthless killer. Him being sort of loyal and codependent on Black Mask, not so much, but it worked within the character, within the context of this film, and he was great. So I was sad when he ends up getting killed towards the end. I was like, what the hell? He was great. Why did you kill him? And I get why they killed him in terms of his connection to Huntress, but I was like, damn it, I wish they could have saved him, because I would have liked to see him fight Batman at some point. I liked, what's her name? Journey Smollett-Bell, Juicy Smollett's sister. Her as Dinah Lance, aka Black Canary. I was very worried about her being in this film when she was first announced, but how they handled her, she did really well. She didn't have a lot to do, but the thing she did do in this, I liked her. Um, she looks nothing like Black Canary. That's the thing. No one really looks like how they should look or how they are portrayed in 99% of the time in the comics, and she's no exception. And I was disappointed when they race bend the character because if you don't know, Black Canary is not black. She's actually a white woman. And my problem with that was, at least with this, in this instance, it's like DC has cool black female superheroes. Just use them. You could have used Bumblebee. You could have used Vixen. You could have made Hawk Girl Afro Latina like they've done before. It would have worked, but no, they race bended her. And as a whole, also I didn't think Journey Smollett was a badass because Black Canary is a badass and she's a martial arts and everything. And I was like, I don't really see badass when I look at her, but she pulled it off in this film. And she's a singer. She works at Roma Sionis' club, who is the Black Mask, which is sort of like the New 52 version where she's in a rock band. And she did good. I also like the whole mention that her mother was a metahuman and she had superpowers and used to fight crime, and she got killed one time, and that's, she used to work with police and then she got killed, and Dinah's not cool about that. And that was cool. I wasn't expecting them to get that much into Black Canary's backstory. And also I liked Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the Huntress, which when they first casted her as a Huntress, I thought she would have been a better choice for the Oracle, the Oracle Batgirl, who is the actual leader of the Birds of Prey, if they would have did it, like the traditional version. And but she did good as Huntress, and I liked how they kept her origin pretty close to how it is usually told. Her father, being the daughter of a mob guy, and then they getting killed, and her surviving, her training to get revenge. And this, she's sneaking around, killing the different people that were involved in the death, the crime boss, and like the guys that were there that shot her family. Because it wasn't like, usually it's just her mom and her dad they get killed, but in this one it was like her mom, her dad, her cousins, and her uncles. They were all there. It was crazy. And there was the family diamond that has the offshore accounts information inside of it that goes missing, and now it's coming back, and Black Mask is trying to get it. And Black Mask, okay, so she was good. Once again, costume was terrible, especially towards the end. That moment at the end where they showed them in their Birds of Prey costumes, trash. Just awful. So let's get into the things I didn't like. Margot Robbie. It seems like people really like Margot Robbie, or even love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. When she first appeared in Suicide Squad, I thought she has a good look. She could act. But I was like, the material for her in that movie was not good. So maybe if I would see her with better material, I would like her as Harley Quinn. This is the second time I've seen her as Harley Quinn, and it is clear to me that I don't like her as Harley Quinn. There's this device in the movie is similar to Casino and Goodfellas, where the character is doing narration throughout the movie, and listening to Margot Robbie do the Harley Quinn voice, it really started to hit me like she's not that good at pulling that voice off. There's different versions, and this version I'm just not that into. Most of the humor that was with her I didn't think all that great. I was disappointed in. Actually, some of like I said, the action sequences with her were cool, but I was disappointed in the little minor things that just didn't really seem like the Harley I care about. This is definitely closer to the New 52 version of Harley Quinn, so if you like that version of Harley Quinn, I think you'll really enjoy her in this movie. Another thing I didn't like was Ewan McGregor as Roma Sionis, aka the Black Mask. He made some weird acting choices that I didn't quite understand. I get he was trying to make it his own, but he was very over the top. His character was very flamboyant. His character, okay, so there was rumors that it came out that his character was like super gay. It was gay, and he was over the top, and he's in a romance with Victor Zsasz' character. And some people had some issues with that, mainly because they heard his portrayal was going to be so over the top. And his portrayal is over the top, but they must have edited something, because they don't expressly say his character is gay. And they don't expressly say that him and Victor Zsasz are a couple, because it seems more like Victor wants to be a couple with him, but they're really not, and that's why he's so overprotective of him. So they don't, but he is flamboyant. And there was moments where I'm like, he doesn't really seem like he might be a gay guy. Then the other moments where it's like, okay, maybe he is supposed to be. It was really cartoonish, and he was just loud and obnoxious. He's supposed to be this rich, spoiled kid in this version of the movie, and they made him whiny. And one thing that he did, he would be over the top, and in every scene, at any so random moment, he would always do it at least once. He would say something crazy. He would turn around and go, "Woo! All right, this is fun." And it's like, what was the choice of that? Like every scene is like, "Woo!" And I'm like, why? Stop that. It was terrible. Another thing I didn't like, Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya. I thought when they initially casted her, I was like, that's not a good choice. Why would you cast someone so old and someone who I personally don't think is that good of an actress to play this character, which you could do cool things with? And yeah, it was about what I expected. When they got to the action sequences, it was ridiculous at certain points, especially in the beginning. There was a moment where she's chasing, um, she's chasing down Harley Quinn, and I'm like, this just looks ridiculous. There was some fight sequences where she was fighting. I'm like, she's so tiny. And then they did a thing where they make Renee Montoya, there's a whole thing where she had a partner who stole all the credit for her work, and he became the captain of this particular precinct that she works in. And all the guys, because there seems to be only guys working at this police station, but all the guys at the station treat her like shit, even though she's actually a good cop. She doesn't get the credit. But they also, in a way, kind of make her unprofessional. Like, I know there was a moment where she was kind of on the rocks, but it was just weird to see this version of Renee Montoya that's being treated like shit the whole time. I'm like, why do this to the character? It's a cool character, and yeah, I didn't care for that. I didn't like their portrayal of Cassandra Cain. In this movie, Cassandra Cain is played by Ella J. Basco, and in the comics, Cassandra Cain, she's a young girl, and she becomes one of the versions of Batgirl. And her parents are two of the deadliest hand-to-hand combatants in the DC universe. And she was trained to be a killing machine. And they only focused on her killing abilities. They never taught her how to, really interact with people or how to speak. So she grew up as a mute. She didn't talk. And she's a badass. And in this movie, she's just some kid on the streets of Gotham, in an abusive foster home and foster family, and she goes around stealing stuff. She's wisecracking and all. And I'm like, why call this character Cassandra Cain? This is not Cassandra Cain. This is a completely original-ish character. Don't call it Cassandra Cain. There's no moments. She doesn't even fight. She's just running around, and her way in the story is she ends up stealing the diamond that Roman Sionis was trying to get, and she stole it from Victor's ass, and she swallows it once they find out that she has it, and all the other people are loosely connected to her. Like, Black Canary lives in the same apartment building that she's in. Renee Montoya knows her because she comes into the precinct every so often when she gets locked up. So once there's a bounty out on her head, all the villains and different gangs are trying to get her. Harley Quinn is captured by Black Mask, and she's like, hey, if you let me go, I can get the diamond for you. So then she gets involved, which I don't know why anyone would trust Harley Quinn as a mercenary, which I guess is like her new job now. She's like, well, I'm going to be a mercenary, which I thought was kind of funny that she became a mercenary after she's like, I'm free from the Joker. I guess I can use my skills to help people. I guess. So she should be locked up. Like, I don't know why Amanda Waller hasn't come in and locked her ass up. And so there's some wackiness. There's some weird. The middle kind of sags. There was this one sequence that I remember. I forgot about it because this is my second time recording this, but I just remembered. There's a moment where she's being interrogated by Black Mask, and this was the what the fuck moment for me in the movie. She's being interrogated by Black Mask, and he like backhands her, and she's like got trauma, and she has this vision in her head where she's doing the Marilyn Monroe Diamonds Are Girls' Best Friend type thing, and it's all these guys in these get masks, and I'm assuming it was Ewan McGregor was there, and he had a mask on too, and it kind of faded in and out of this dance sequence and her singing, and then her reeling back from getting hit, and him yelling at her about blah blah blah, and it was such a weird. I don't get why they chose to do that. It made no sense, and it never happens. It would be one thing if there was a lot of weird, wacky visions popping up in her head, which it wasn't. There was weird stuff popping up on the screen, but it wasn't like a whole dance sequence. It just felt out of the blue, and no one comments on it. It doesn't come back in any way. It was just weird. So that happened. There was a thing with the Chinese dude or the Asian guy that ran the restaurant that she lived above, and she was all hurt that he sold her out, which I don't know why. She was surprised. Like, who is this guy? It was so weird. And it was weird that they introduced him like 15 minutes before he betrays her. I'm like, who cares about this man? Anyway, just some weird story stuff that happened. Yeah, it was a weird movie. Definitely not one of, in terms of the DCEU, it's definitely lower on the ranking for me. I liked it more than Suicide Squad because at least the story is cohesive enough. But I think I like a few of the characters more in Suicide Squad, but the plot in this movie is more understandable and better. So I guess by that definition, I like it more. Definitely didn't like this more than Aquaman, which is surprising because I thought Aquaman was kind of basic. But rewatching Aquaman, it's like Aquaman had really good visuals. The action was cool. It was fun. Story was kind of meh, but the amount of comic book love and accuracy that was in that, I really enjoyed and respected, as opposed to this film where it was barely there. What was it? There's the action sequence towards the end where they're fighting in the fun house. The concept was good. I didn't think it was executed that well as a whole. And I like that they played Barracuda during that sequence. But yeah, then there was this crazy moment where they're leaving, and they're leaving like it's the end of the movie because Black Mask is outside and he sends the guys in there after they beat those guys. They're just walking out like they just defeated Black Mask, knowing that he's directly outside. He starts shooting at him, and the other guys are shooting at him, and I'm like, why did you guys think it was over? And then we get the moment where Black Canary uses her Canary cry, which was cool. She only does it once. Nice to see it. And then it leads to a cool action sequence where Harley Quinn's chasing them on her roller skates. She uses the power of the Canary cry to push her after the car, and then Huntress comes in to to help her out with the rope, and they use some of the roller derby stuff from earlier in the film. So at least that came back into play. A good sequence, and then at the end, they end up on a pier, and there's all these statues. With the founders of Gotham City, and Harley Quinn can't see him because it's foggy, and she only has one bullet in Renee Montoya's gun because they didn't have enough gear. They used like Harley's old gear to kind of help them out to fight off Roman Sionis. So she ends up wasting the bullet, and then because he's holding Cassandra, he's holding the girl hostage, and she tells Harley that, hey, I have one of your rings, and she shows her the ring, and it's the ring from the 2 grenades that she stole, and that she used from Harley's cabinet, and then she breaks away from Black Mask, and then Harley like kicks him off the pier, and then he just explodes, which was crazy. That was a big like whoa moment, and I was sad to see that because it's like, here's another great Batman villain, and you're just killing them. Like, don't be like Marvel and kill all your villains, but whatever. And so they are saved, and they decide to form a Canary, Huntress, and Renee Montoya decide to form a team, and they think that the girl's gonna leave to crap out the diamond, but actually she's teaming up with Harley, and then her and Harley steal Black Canary's car and drive away. And for some reason, this Cassandra Cain, who is a Batgirl in this movie, is now going to be Girl Joker, or she's going to be Harley Quinn's little psychic. And I'm like, what? I didn't care for that, especially that just make your own character at that point. Why did it have to be Cassandra Cain? You could have took Julie from Punching Julie and thrown her in here and then do that. That would have made sense, but I don't know. Just not digging it for me. Another thing that this movie really helped me do is it helped me realize that the CW does not get the respect that it deserves. The costumes for the CW always talked crap about. the costumes in the CW are better and more comic book accurate than are portrayed in this fucking movie, and that is a shame because this movie has millions of dollars for its budget, costume to budget. They could have did better than that, and they also get the character portrayals right. They've done various versions of the Birds of Prey in many incarnations, especially Black Canary, Huntress, and their own sort of oracle. And it's just sad to see that when you get big money, they pull this shit. So it is what it is. It's an L for the DCU. They seem to, the DC movies seem to have been on a good trajectory, and sadly this movie was the low point that I had feared it was going to be. But those are my thoughts on the Birds of Prey movie. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Am I just hating on? Am I overly judgmental about this movie? You let me know in the comments. But anyway, thanks for watching this. Give this video a like, share it, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching. Peace.